Hello and welcome. We're diving into a topic today that so many parents of gifted children really wrestle with. Should you actually tell your child they're gifted? It's a really sensitive question, but what we're about to see is that it's also an absolutely crucial one. It probably starts with things you've already noticed, right? Maybe they ask these questions that are just years ahead of their age, or they get incredibly frustrated when things move too slowly. You can just see it. They experience the world in a way that's totally different from their friends. And here's the thing, your child feels it too. But without the right words, without a way to understand what's going on in their own head, that feeling of being different can twist into this really painful, silent question they ask themselves: is there something wrong with me? So let's start right there with that secret question, because honestly, it's at the very heart of why this whole conversation matters so much. Look, what all the experts will tell you is that gifted kids already know they don't quite fit the mold. Your silence doesn't hide that difference from them. All it does is take your voice out of the conversation they're already having in their own head, leaving them to fill in the blanks with really negative ideas like, I'm weird or I'm not normal. So this brings us right to the big dilemma: to tell or not to tell. It can feel like a really high stakes decision. So let's break down both sides of it. On one hand, parents worry about things like pressure, perfectionism, or maybe social awkwardness. And let me tell you, those are completely valid concerns. But on the other hand, telling your child gives them a positive way to understand themselves. It can reduce that shame and, importantly, empower them to ask for what they need. It finally gives a name to their experience. And a really key idea to wrap your head around here is asynchrony. This is usually the root cause of that out of sync feeling. It basically means a child might have the brain of a 12-year-old, but the emotional skills of a 7-year-old, all in the same body. Just explaining that one concept can suddenly make their whole world make sense to them. So really, when you get down to it, not sharing this information can almost be seen as unfair. When you do it in a thoughtful way, giving them the label isn't about creating a big ego, it's about providing a sense of relief, of clarity, and building a foundation for a healthy sense of self. Okay, so if you decide you're going to tell them, the next big question is when? And this isn't about a single one-time talk. Think of it more as an ongoing conversation that changes and deepens as your child grows up. The trick is to match your approach to their development. For the little ones, preschoolers, focus on descriptions and simple analogies. Then, as they get into school and start thinking more abstractly, that's a good time to gently introduce the word gifted. And for the older kids, the preteens, you can start to have much deeper conversations about the real challenges, like perfectionism. All right, now for the how. Let's get practical and build your conversation toolkit. This isn't about having a perfect script memorized. It's about having the right ideas and some great analogies ready to go. Here's a simple framework. First, find a quiet moment, no rushing. Start by connecting to something they've actually felt or said. Like, hey, have you ever noticed? Let them know their feelings are totally okay. And this is crucial. Always connect giftedness to effort and make it super clear that this is just one part of who they are, alongside so many other things. Analogies are going to be your absolute best friend here. For example, you could say something like this brain highway idea. It takes something abstract and makes it feel concrete and kind of cool, not scary. It's a way a kid can instantly get what you mean by processing speed. And this one is brilliant for explaining that feeling of boredom. It reframes it. It's not a behavior problem. It's a real need. Their bike just gets wobbly if it's going too slow. They need a bit more speed to feel steady and engaged. Makes sense, right? The garden analogy is just perfect for heading off any feelings of superiority. It puts their quick thinking right alongside other talents, like being a fast runner or being super kind, and reinforces that beautiful message that everyone has their own unique and important way of growing. So, we've given them the words to understand themselves. The next big step is, how do we help them navigate the social world with this new information? Ah, yes. This is probably the number one fear for so many parents. What happens when they're with their friends who might not get it? How do you help them deal with being called a know-it-all or just feeling left out? Well, you can empower them by practicing some simple, neutral things to say. These little scripts aren't about being defensive or bragging. They just gently state a fact or set a boundary. They give your child some real control in what can be a really tricky social moment. And here's a really key distinction. The goal is to teach discretion, not secrecy. You see, secrecy feels like shame, like something you have to hide. Discretion is just about understanding the right time, place, and people to talk to. It's private family info, not some shameful secret or something to shout from the rooftops. Okay, let's wrap this up. Now that you've got the why, the when, and the how, let's focus on the big picture and a fantastic resource that can help you keep going. Please remember, this is so much bigger than a label. It's about a series of conversations that give your child self-awareness and resilience. You're not just explaining how their brain works, you're giving them the tools and the courage to be exactly who they are. And for those of you looking for some very specific, practical guidance, especially within the South African context, I have to point you to Gifted Children South Africa. They've developed some absolutely excellent sample conversation scripts. You can find them right on their website at giftedchildrensouthafrica.org. So I'll just leave you with this question. This isn't about having one perfect talk. It's just about starting a dialogue. So thinking about your own unique child, what's one small step you can take, maybe even this week, to begin that conversation and empower them on their journey?